The biggest misconception of individuals with peripheral neuropathy, or even people that are talking about peripheral neuropathy, is that when you get peripheral neuropathy, the nerves stop functioning. They don't function at all. Well, the truth is peripheral neuropathy is actually a malfunction, or a nerve that's not functioning correctly, not a nerve that's not functioning at all. And there are really four ways that you present with this malfunction. Hello, I'm Dr. Brant Gibson, and today I want to talk to you about the process of how a nerve malfunctions in peripheral neuropathy. Number one, the misconception idea is that the nerves don't function at all. In some cases, you do have nerves that are completely absent, that don't work. This is the least common form of peripheral neuropathy, but it is possible. If you were to injure a nerve or cut a nerve, you could actually get a nerve that is absent, not functioning at all. These type of nerve malfunctions where they don't work at all are a little bit harder to treat if it's larger nerves. Now, that being said, when we have small fiber peripheral neuropathy or small fiber sensory neuropathy, you can take an absent nerve and recover it by doing some of the repair processes that we do in treating peripheral neuropathy. Number two is a weak signal. So if you have a nerve that's malfunctioning and just sends a weak signal, it's not strong enough to get the correct response, or the brain isn't able to respond correctly because it's such a weak signal. Maybe it's not getting a full signal or whatever. This is another type of malfunction of the nerve. Reasons why you get a weak signal: maybe you have mitochondria that have died inside the cell, or you could get a cell injury or cell damage, or even damage at the axon or dendrite level where you're only getting part of the signal, so it becomes a weak signal instead of a full signal. Same type of thing if you get some forms of malfunction of even the proteins, like the neurotransmitters, the proteins that are being sent from nerve to nerve. You can also get a weak signal because you're getting a smaller number of neurotransmitters because they're not being formed correctly. So weak signal. The third is a slow signal. So even though the signal is working like it's supposed to, strength-wise, it's traveling too slow. One of the biggest reasons this happens is either you have injury at the axon level, or you have loss of the myelin sheath, or speed up the process of actually create a lining around it called a myelin sheath. And this lining is designed to send the signals to the appropriate nerve, basically to help it jump. So it actually, basically, if you got these myelin sheaths, it's jumping between node, and it moves significantly faster. So a slow signal will also cause the nerve signal to not get to the brain correctly, and then you get a malfunction where it's not like it's supposed to. The last is an erroneous signal, and this is the most common, where the brain is getting signal, but it's misinterpreting the signal because it's being sent incorrectly. With an erroneous signal, a lot of times you're going to get symptoms that are not consistent with what's happening. So you step on a cold surface, for example, and it's painful, or your feet are hypersensitive, or those kind of things. So an erroneous signal is that you're getting a signal, the brain doesn't know how to interpret it, it interprets it as pain or numbness or whatever. So one of the keys to managing your peripheral neuropathy, especially if you're trying to manage the symptoms, is understanding what type of malfunction is happening. Is the signal absent? Is it a weak signal, a slow signal, or even erroneous signal? Because then you can treat appropriately. If it's a weak signal, sometimes a nerve reset will cause it to strengthen back up. If it's a slow signal, then repair can actually help. Reset can sometimes help. And so those are some of the kind of ideas that we actually do. If it's an erroneous signal, then you've got to do most of the time like in a re-education to help the nerve function like it's supposed to. All of these, of course, can improve with the appropriate type of repair. So identify what type of malfunction is happening with the nerves, and then you can manage the symptoms correctly and more easily. If you don't do this first step of identifying what type of malfunction is happening, it's significantly harder to move forward with the management of those symptoms and ultimately the control of the nerve damage. This is Dr. Brant Gibson, and this is your Neuropathy Nugget. Day 276. Identify the nerve malfunction. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.